How long has your mind been the one running the show? How many moments have you lost? Not because the world was against you, but because your thoughts turned against you. If your mind drifts, doubts, panics, reacts, it's not your ally yet. And until it obeys you, you'll stay stuck in the same cycles, overthinking, overreacting, overcompensating. But that ends today. This is not just another motivational video. This is a tactical guide to mental clarity, emotional self-control, and stoic mindset training designed for men who are tired of being slaves to their heads. You'll discover 12 stoic lessons that will reshape how you think, respond, and lead yourself daily. Because real strength isn't loud, it's quiet, disciplined, focused. And when your mind obeys, everything obeys: your habits, your emotions, your direction. So, if you're ready to stop chasing success and start becoming the man who commands it, stay locked in. Each lesson is short, sharp, and immediately usable. This isn't philosophy, it's mental training. And it starts now. But before we go in, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to regain control of their mind. We're not building hype, we're building mental resilience, one habit at a time. Let's get into it. 1. Master the command center. Your mind. You can't lead a company if your boardroom is in chaos. You can't drive a car if your steering wheel shakes with every bump. And you can't lead your life if your mind jumps at every distraction, reacts to every insult, or panics at every uncertainty. The first Stoic lesson is simple, brutal, and non-negotiable. Your mind must obey you, not the other way around. Most men walk through life like hostages to their own thoughts, scrolling, complaining, chasing approval, fearing judgment, giving up at the first sign of discomfort. They think freedom means doing what you feel like. No, that's slavery in disguise. True freedom is discipline. The ability to think clearly when it matters most, to shut out noise and hear your command. But society won't teach you this. It teaches stimulation over stillness, reaction over reflection. It rewards outrage, noise, and emotional impulsiveness. You've been trained to react fast, but never to respond right. And the cost is massive. Poor decisions, broken focus, emotional spirals. The Stoics saw this 2,000 years ago, and nothing has changed. They knew that mastering your mind wasn't a luxury, it was survival. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, led wars, buried children, and still wrote each morning to remind himself to own his mind before the day began. Here's the shift. Your mind is not your enemy. It's your battlefield. And every day you step into combat. You either take the lead or you're led. You either speak with clarity or you drown in noise. You either command your thoughts or you chase them like a dog chasing cars. And the weapon you need is not more motivation or caffeine. It's presence. Deliberate, grounded, ruthless presence. That's what Stoicism builds, not empty calm, but trained sharpness. Start with one thing. The moment you wake up, don't grab your phone. Sit, breathe, say nothing, and watch how fast your mind starts begging for distraction. That's your first test and your first opportunity. Win it, then win the next. Each victory compounds. Each moment of silence is a push-up for your mind. Each pause between stimulus and response builds inner strength. Over time, you stop reacting and you start deciding. You stop running and you start leading. You become the captain again. This is how you train the mind to obey. Not once, not when life is easy, but every single day, through repetition, through control, through silence. Let others be tossed by emotions. Let them chase attention. You lead from within. Because if your mind bends to your will, there is nothing you cannot do. Now start. Eyes open, mind steady, control taken back. 2. Master the first thought. Train the commander, not the soldier. What's the first thing that enters your mind when something doesn't go your way? Be honest. Most men default to anger, panic, or avoidance, not because they're weak, but because no one taught them to lead their mind like a commander, only to obey it like a soldier. A soldier reacts, a commander decides. The real war isn't out there, it's in your first thought. You lose that, you lose everything. You win it, and you become unstoppable. That first thought when you wake up, when someone disrespects you, when you're tempted, that single thought is the starting line of your discipline. You don't fix your life by controlling everything. You fix it by training the first response that controls you. Most guys think they have to fix their habits, their time management, their fitness, their finances, but they miss the root, their initial response to life. That's where chaos begins. And where control can begin too. You can't stop your first thought from showing up, but you can decide whether it commands you or you command it. A Stoic man doesn't chase positive thinking, he trains accurate thinking. He doesn't ask, why is this happening to me? He says, what now? He doesn't drown in emotion. He names it, faces it, and moves anyway. Just like a commander on the battlefield who doesn't have time for confusion, only clarity. Picture this. Your mind is like a high-performance engine, but the ignition, the first thought, decides whether you crash or conquer. If you leave it untrained, that ignition floods your system with anxiety, self-doubt, or rage. But if you master that split-second spark, the rest of your engine runs clean. You stop spiraling. You start acting. You stop seeking control from others. You begin leading yourself. Not by chance, by design. That's why Stoicism doesn't start with feelings. It starts with reason. Not because emotions are bad, but because untrained emotions hijack your power. When you master the first thought, you don't have to waste hours recovering from bad decisions. You prevent them before they're born. That's power. Quiet, unshakable, not loud or dramatic, just grounded. And the best part, you can train it daily, every morning, before the noise. You sit, breathe, ask, what do I want to think today? Then act like that man already exists. This is not meditation. This is mental war prep. Don't react, respond. Don't follow every impulse. Lead with one principle. Your first thought is the trigger. Make it count. Because if you master that even once, you've already started becoming the man your future needs. And no one can take that from you. Not life, not failure, not even fear. 3. Build inner strength before the world breaks. A man without inner strength is a man waiting to be broken. By pressure, by chaos, by failure. You don't see it coming until it's too late, until your emotions hijack your choices, until distractions run your day, until one crisis snaps your patience and ruins a year of progress. That's what happens when you rely on the outside to stay in control. But Stoicism flips the script. Instead of reacting to the world, you prepare your mind to lead it. Modern life doesn't test your muscles, it tests your mindset. Your phone dings, deadlines stack, someone cuts you off in traffic, your child cries, your boss demands more. And in that pressure cooker, most men lose it. Not because life is cruel, but because they never trained for it. Inner strength isn't motivational fluff, it's a daily discipline. A muscle forged through emotional control, stillness under fire, and mental clarity in noise. The problem is that most men outsource their strength. They think peace comes when the chaos stops. But Stoics knew the truth. Peace begins when discipline starts. You don't build strength by avoiding discomfort. You build it by walking into it every day with your eyes open and your mouth shut. You stop arguing with what you can't control. You shut down the need to react. You practice calm like it's a skill, because it is. Picture a soldier sharpening his sword every morning. Not because he expects war today, but because he refuses to be unready. That's you. Wake up and sharpen your mind. Focus on it. Still it. Train it to listen to you. Not to fear, not to anger, not to laziness. When your mind obeys you, the world can't bend you. Because you've already bent yourself. That's not weakness, that's power. But here's the twist. Inner strength doesn't feel heroic. It feels boring. Repetitive. Like saying no to impulse. Like showing up to a workout when you're tired. Like finishing the task before checking your phone. That's why most men never build it, because it's quiet, invisible, thankless. But that's exactly what makes it unshakable. You don't need permission, you don't need better conditions, you need a decision. One that says, I will become mentally strong because the world won't slow down and I won't break just because it's hard. Start with one habit, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Take a cold shower and don't flinch. Do one thing you hate and do it without complaint. Every time you say no to weakness, you say yes to your power. The man who builds his inner strength becomes the anchor in storms, not because the waves stop, but because he doesn't move. That's what Stoicism trains you for. Not comfort, but command. Not soft peace, but still calm. Build that before life demands it. 4. Your mind is a muscle. Train it like one. Every man wants strength. You hit the gym, push your body, chase the numbers. But how often do you train your mind with the same intensity? The truth is, most don't. They treat the mind like a passive organ, something that reacts, worries, spirals, overthinks. But Stoicism flips that on its head. Your mind isn't a sponge, it's a muscle. And just like any muscle, it weakens if left unused. The man who doesn't train his thoughts ends up being trained by his emotions. You become a slave to impulse, to the opinion of others, to the fear of failure. That's not strength, that's surrender. You see, the modern world doesn't demand physical dominance anymore. It demands mental clarity, emotional discipline, laser focus. And yet we've built a culture that trains everything but the mind. We invest in routines for biceps, cardio, sleep, productivity hacks. But when was the last time you said, I'm going to do 20 reps of mental clarity today? Probably never. Because no one told you that training your mind is not optional, it's essential. Your thoughts are not just background noise, they're the blueprint of your outcomes. Train weak thoughts, live a weak life. Build disciplined thinking, you build a disciplined existence. Here's where Stoic practice hits differently. You don't need a gym, supplements, or apps. You need self-command. When a Stoic wakes up, he doesn't scroll. He grounds himself in intention. He sets the tone. No thought enters without scrutiny. No emotion gets a free pass. That's what mind control looks like. Not in theory, but in daily habit. Not magic, not therapy. Just effort, just reps, just discipline. And if that sounds harsh, good. Reality is harsh. And that's what makes this mindset so powerful. It doesn't wait for motivation. It shows up regardless of feeling. Imagine a man walking into battle. No armor, no sword, no plan, just raw emotion. That's most men today when they face a challenge. Untrained, undisciplined, mentally soft. Stoicism is your training camp. Every day you do the reps. Detach from outcomes, reject useless thoughts, choose action over reaction, and hold the line. No applause, no witnesses, just you versus you. But every rep you do in silence echoes in your results. You walk straighter, think sharper, react slower. That's mind mastery. And it starts where every rep starts, in discomfort. You want peace? You want focus? You want to walk into chaos with calm in your chest? Then train. No one's coming to save you. No one's handing you mental strength. It's forged, one repetition at a time. So start now. Choose one thought today, just one, and control it. Don't let it spiral. Don't let it win. Grab it, shape it. That's your rep. Do it again tomorrow and again the next day. Because the mind, like any muscle, obeys the man who trains it. 5. Train your brain to obey. Start with the smallest command. You don't need to climb a mountain to build mental strength. You just need to get out of bed when your alarm goes off. That's where the war begins. Not in the boardroom, not in a gym, not during some dramatic life crisis, but right there, in the first 30 seconds of your morning. That's your battlefield. And most men lose before they even open their eyes. Why? Because they believe mental control is some abstract power. It's not. It's mechanical. It's repeatable. It's built through commands followed without hesitation. Let's clear this up. Your mind isn't your enemy. It's your dog. And if you let a dog run wild without rules, it pisses on the carpet, chews up your priorities, and barks at everything that distracts you. But train it daily with consistency, and it obeys. You say sit, it sits. You say focus, it locks in. That's mental discipline. Not motivation, not feel-good affirmations. Discipline. Through repetition, through simplicity, through execution. The modern man thinks he's free when he acts on emotion. He thinks following desire is power. But that's weakness wearing cologne. Real power is making your mind obey even when it resists, especially when it resists. Your cravings will scream, your body will beg for comfort, your fears will whisper, not today. That's when you act anyway. That's how you rewire your brain to follow, not lead you. Look around. Most men are slaves to their impulses. They scroll instead of move. They speak before they think. They quit when it gets hard. Because their minds lead and they follow. That's backwards. The Stoics knew this. They trained themselves to choose discomfort, to confront resistance, to build inner strength by denying outer ease. They didn't negotiate with laziness. They didn't wait for inspiration. They acted. And through action, they earned freedom. So what do? Start small. Give your mind a simple command. Make the bed, take a cold shower, shut up when you want to argue, and follow through. Do it without debate, without delay. Every time you execute, you lay a brick. You build the inner citadel, not with speeches or books, but with obedience. Your own. This isn't theory, it's strategy. It's how you break the chains of distraction and weakness. You train your brain like you'd train a soldier, Routine, repetition, responsibility. You don't hope to be mentally strong, you show up and build it. And that begins with this. Choose one command today, just one, and do it immediately. No matter how small, no matter how much you don't want to. That's how your mind learns who's in charge. That's how you become the man who gives the order and watches his mind obey without question. 6. Stop trying to control others. Control yourself first. You keep trying to fix people, your coworkers, your wife, your kids, strangers online. You think if they changed, your life would finally calm down. But that's a trap, and you're stuck in it. Control is addictive. It gives the illusion of safety, like clutching the steering wheel of a car you're not even driving. And that illusion? It's ruining your peace, draining your focus, and hijacking your emotions. Stoicism slices straight through this nonsense. The Stoics didn't waste a second trying to change other people. They turned that energy inward, because that's the only place power lives. Trying to control others is weakness disguised as leadership. It's noise dressed up as action. True strength is silent, inward, disciplined. Imagine you're in a gym, spotting a guy lifting weight that's too heavy for him. You can yell, correct, get angry, but it won't make him stronger. Meanwhile, your own set is waiting. Your body is weakening while you micromanage someone else's rep. Life works the same. Every second you spend trying to reshape someone else is a second stolen from building your mental muscle. You want peace? Pull that energy back. Direct it where it counts. Your reactions, your discipline, your routines. You want power? Stop complaining about your team's laziness and show up an hour earlier. Let them feel the gap, not hear about it. You want respect? Control your impulses. No yelling, no begging, no pleasing, just stillness and execution. This mindset is brutal, yes, but it's freedom. Most men don't realize how much of their stress is self-inflicted, not by what happens, but by how they obsess over what others should have done. A missed apology, a rude email, a silent partner. They stew in it for hours, sometimes days. For what? That time could have been spent sharpening a skill, resetting your energy, becoming unshakable. That's what the Stoics practiced. Emotional self-control, not emotional surveillance. They didn't waste energy watching others fail. They built inner strength that didn't care who failed or succeeded, because their direction didn't depend on it. So here's the shift. When something annoys you, don't speak. Don't react. Ask, what does this say about my attachment to outcomes? About my need to control? About my lack of discipline? Most problems dissolve not when others change, but when your expectations die. That's not weakness, that's clarity. That's training your mind to obey your will, not the world's chaos. You don't fix the world by fixing others. You fix the world by mastering the only battlefield that matters, your response. And every time you pull your energy inward, every time you bite your tongue, every time you rise early while they sleep, you're building silent dominance. Not over them, over yourself. That's the discipline they'll never see coming. 7. Turn emotion into precision. There's a reason most men feel lost when anger hits them, or anxiety, or shame. You weren't taught to command your emotions, only to suppress them, drown them, or explode under their weight. But Stoicism doesn't tell you to feel nothing. It tells you to master everything. And that begins with this. Learn to translate emotion into clear, cold, precise action. Think of a sniper. Inhale, exhale, steady hands. One target, one shot. Now think of your day. The meetings, the arguments, the family demands. Chaos pulls at you from all sides. Your mind spins, and with it, your reactions become sloppy. You lash out, you shut down, you spiral. But what if every time emotions surged, you didn't suppress it? You redirected it like a laser. That's how a Stoic thinks. Anger becomes fuel for boundary setting. Fear becomes fuel for preparation. Sadness becomes a signal for adjustment. You don't run from the fire. You forge steel inside it. Men who live without emotional discipline live at the mercy of their moods. They quit when it's hard. They react when silence would be power. They speak to be heard instead of speaking with weight. That's why emotional self-control is not a soft trait. It's not nice guy energy. It's lethal. It's what makes you unshakable when everything around you is chaos. It's what lets your kids trust you. Your team follows you. Your enemies respect you. But most people don't train this. They react. They justify. I was tired. She disrespected me. He deserved it. Excuses. You either own your emotions or they own you. That's it. So next time you're boiling with rage or drowning in self-doubt, don't ask why you're feeling it. Ask what you're going to do with it. That shift from feeling to framing, that's the start of emotional command. It's not about becoming robotic, it's about becoming surgical. Let's ground this. Your boss embarrasses you in front of the team. Your gut screams to hit back, but you pause. You straighten your spine. You reply with one sentence. Calm, clear, calculated. No insult, no drama, just precision. That's power. Or at home, your kid disobeys you again. You don't yell. You kneel. You look them in the eye. You speak low, slow, with intent. They listen. Because now you're not reacting, you're leading. Emotions are wild horses. Most men let them drag the chariot into the ditch. But the Stoic? He takes the reins. He rides the storm, not by force but by mastery. So here's your practice today. When emotion hits, pause. Name it, frame it, then aim it. You'll be shocked how many moments you once lost, you now own. 8. Practice voluntary discomfort daily. Train your inner warrior. You want strength? Stop avoiding pain. Stop chasing comfort like a lost child looking for safety. Real strength, the kind that makes your mind obey you, is forged in discomfort. Not in theory, in blood, sweat, and stillness. Every man says he wants discipline, until discipline demands he gets up at 5 a.m. and faces cold, silence, and strain before the world even opens its eyes. But that's exactly where your edge is built. That's where the mind learns who's in charge. And it's not the comfort craving part of you that scrolls for dopamine. It's the quiet general inside, the one who says, get up, push. You don't need it to be easy. You need it meaningful. Voluntary discomfort isn't punishment. It's permission. Permission to dominate the weaker voices in your head. It's walking through the fire before the fire walks through you. Ancient Stoics knew this. That's why they fasted when food was plenty. That's why they slept on the floor when they owned beds. Because when chaos hits, and it will, you won't fold like a cheap lawn chair. You'll be calm, clear, commanding. Why? Because you've trained for this while others hit snooze. The world feeds you lies. It says comfort is happiness. But men who've built mental toughness know better. Comfort is a trap, a cage dressed in softness. The moment you start choosing pain, cold showers, fasting, lifting when tired, saying no when craving yes, your mind sharpens. Not just mentally, but spiritually. You reclaim your power inch by inch, not with loud declarations, but with silent morning rituals and unseen evening choices. You stop reacting and start directing. You stop needing motivation. You operate from conviction. This isn't about becoming a robot. It's about becoming unbreakable. A man who's been through the storm doesn't fear the rain. When others panic, you lead. When the job is hard, you show up twice. When life punches, you don't flinch. You punch back. But only if you've practiced pain. Only if you've made discomfort your ally. Most men wait until crisis hits to get serious. That's weakness disguised as convenience. The Stoic trains before the war. He builds walls before the flood. So you must do the same. Start small. Skip the sugar. Walk instead of drive. Lift when tired. Breathe through cold. Silence the phone for 1 hour. Let discomfort introduce you to your real self. The one who's buried under layers of excuses and artificial ease. Because at the end of the day, freedom isn't found in avoiding pain. It's found in owning it. When you seek discomfort daily, you stop being its slave. You stand in control. That's not just mental strength. That's self-mastery. And that, my friend, is what makes your mind finally obey. In the quiet hours before the world stirs, your greatest battles are fought. Not with others, but within yourself. What we explored today wasn't just a Stoic lesson. It was a call to arms. A call to reclaim the one thing that matters most, command over your own mind. Practicing voluntary discomfort isn't about proving how tough you are. It's about reminding your body and mind who's in charge. It's about choosing growth over ease. You train when it's cold. You lift when you're tired. You say no to distraction. These aren't heroic acts. They're daily disciplines. They build your mental toughness, your emotional self-control, your unbreakable mindset. If you wait for life to be easy, you'll wait forever. But if you lean into the challenge, if you welcome it like a trusted teacher, you begin to build inner strength that no setback can shake. This is how modern Stoicism becomes practical. It moves from words to action, from theory to transformation. So I invite you, start small. Choose one discomfort every day. Let it sharpen you. Let it stretch your limits. Watch how your identity shifts, not through talk, but through repeated action. Because the man you become is shaped by the choices you make when no one's watching. You don't need more motivation. You need more discipline. You need more consistency. You need a reason greater than comfort. Let that reason be your future self, the one who refuses to break because he trained in the dark when no one believed in him but himself. And now I want to hear from you. What discomfort are you going to face today? Share your story in the comments. Let others learn from your journey, because together we grow stronger, one deliberate choice at a time.